Hello, my name is Jennifer, and for most of my life I believed family was everything. That no matter how complicated things got, blood ties would always be stronger than jealousy, secrets, or betrayal. I was wrong. If you stick with me through this story, maybe you'll see why sometimes the hardest battles are fought at home, and why sometimes standing up for yourself changes everything. The bitter November wind cut through my jacket as I walked along the pier where my sister Grace and I had once shared ice cream cones and secrets. The wooden planks creaked beneath my feet, each step a reminder of all that had changed. I pulled my phone from my pocket, stared at the unanswered text from Grace, and put it away again. Growing up, we were the balance. She, bright, loud, impossible to ignore. Me, steady, reserved, thoughtful. Grace burned like a flare, drawing everyone's attention with her laugh that filled rooms and stories that captivated dinner tables. I was the shadow beside her brilliance, the one who listened more than spoke. We fought sometimes, like sisters do. She'd borrow my sweaters without asking and return them with mysterious stains. I'd forget to pass on phone messages. But through it all, I truly believed she wanted the best for me. Even when I met Adam in my second year of college, and Grace's smiles became tight-lipped whenever he joined us for dinner. "Guys like that are a dime a dozen, Em," she'd say, eyeing him over her wine glass. "He's sweet now, but they never stay that way." Adam was everything Grace wasn't, thoughtful before speaking, content to plan weeks ahead rather than chase spontaneous adventures. His hand would find mine under tables, a quiet reassurance. That spoke volumes. When he proposed after 3 years, I said yes without hesitation. Our wedding was small. Just family and close friends gathered in my parents' backyard. Grace was my maid of honor, resplendent in emerald silk that matched her eyes. I can still smell the gardenia in my bouquet as she took the microphone for her speech. "No man would ever be good enough for my baby sister," she said, raising her champagne flute. The guests laughed, but I felt Adam stiffen beside me. Her smile that evening never reached her eyes, something I noticed but quickly dismissed as wedding day stress. For years after, things seemed normal. I built my graphic design business from our spare bedroom. Adam climbed the ranks at his architecture firm. Grace was always around, dropping by unannounced with takeout, calling with last-minute concert tickets, needing a place to stay after fights with boyfriends. My parents, their hair gradually silvering, delighted in having both daughters nearby. But everything changed the autumn I turned 34. That was when I first truly doubted my sister's love. The first hairline crack appeared during Thanksgiving dinner. Mom's dining room was warm with candlelight and conversation, the table crowded with dishes. I was helping clear plates when Grace cornered me near the kitchen doorway. "You know Adam and his new co-worker, right?" She kept her voice low, eyes darting to where Adam sat laughing with Dad. "Maya, I think?" "They're awfully close on Instagram." I frowned. Dish towel paused mid-wipe. "What do you mean?" "Just that they like and comment on each other's posts. A lot." Grace shrugged, the casual gesture contradicting the intensity in her eyes. "Probably nothing." The comment lingered like a splinter under skin, barely noticeable until I pressed on it. Adam had mentioned Maya a few times, a talented new hire in the design department. Nothing more. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed at 11:30 p.m. "Grace again. Just saw Adam at Riverside Coffee when you said he was working late. Probably nothing, but you know men." I rolled over in bed to find Adam's side empty, but before panic could set in, I heard the shower running. He'd texted earlier that the client meeting had run late and he'd gone for a coffee to finish revisions before coming home. "Everything okay?" Adam asked, emerging from the bathroom in a cloud of steam, towel around his waist. Water droplets clung to his shoulders, his dark hair plastered to his forehead. "Fine," I said, putting my phone down. "Grace thought she saw you downtown earlier." He nodded, reaching for his glasses. "Yeah, I was at Riverside finishing. The Henderson proposal. Did I forget to mention that?" "No, you told me." I smiled, but something in my chest tightened. Why had Grace felt the need to report this? The comments continued, seemingly innocent yet oddly persistent. "Adam's not really your type, is he?" Grace mused while helping me shop for his birthday gift. "You always liked those artsy types in college, or at Sunday brunch. Don't you ever wonder what he does when you're not around?" "Men like structure, but they crave freedom." Each comment was like a pebble in a pond, small, but creating ripples that disturbed the surface of my contentment. The messages grew bolder. One afternoon, my phone chimed with a text from Grace, a blurry photo showing Adam seated at a restaurant table with several colleagues, including a woman with dark hair I assumed was Maya. Anyone could see it was a group lunch, but Grace's caption read simply, "Just keeping you in the loop." I showed Adam that night, irritation finally breaking through. He sighed, putting down his book. That lunch was for the Jang project completion. The whole team was there. He took off his glasses, rubbed the bridge of his nose. "Does your sister think I'm cheating or something?" "I don't know." "What she thinks," I admitted. The kitchen light hummed above us, casting shadows across our familiar countertops. But these messages are getting weird. "Maybe talk to her," Adam suggested, his voice gentle. "She seems, I don't know, off lately." I nodded, but hesitated to confront Grace. Throughout our lives, she had been the one person who could reduce me to uncertainty with just a raised eyebrow. The real turning point came on our 8th wedding anniversary. I'd arranged a special dinner at home. Adam's favorite coq au vin simmering in the oven, candles waiting to be lit, a vintage bottle of wine decanting on the counter. The afternoon light slanted through our apartment windows as I arranged tulips, bright yellow, Adam's favorite, in a crystal vase my mother had given us. My phone buzzed just as I was sliding the chocolate souffle into the oven. Grace's name flashed on the screen. "M." Her voice sounded thick, broken. "I just can't be alone tonight. Please." "Grace, it's our anniversary," I said, throat tightening as I checked the timer on the oven. I know, I wouldn't ask, but..." A sob cut through her words. "Ryan ended things. I'm a mess. I just need people around me tonight. Please, M." The familiar guilt rose like floodwater. I heard myself say yes before I'd even consciously decided. Adam's face fell when I told him, but he nodded, squeezing my hand. "Family matters," he said simply. "We'll celebrate properly this weekend." Grace arrived 40 minutes later in a cloud of expensive perfume, eyes suspiciously dry for someone who'd been crying. She brought a bottle of champagne. "To celebrate love," she announced, and monopolized Adam's attention throughout dinner. "Remember that camping trip where Em got scared by a raccoon?" she asked Adam, touching his arm as she laughed. "She practically climbed you like a tree." I pushed food around my plate, watching as she leaned forward, her low-cut blouse revealing more than seemed appropriate for a family dinner. The candlelight I'd set for romance now illuminated a performance I hadn't anticipated. "Jennifer's always been my sensitive sister," she continued, pouring herself another generous glass. "And always needs protecting, doesn't she, Adam?" Adam's jaw tightened, but he maintained his polite smile. Under the table, his hand found mine, squeezing 3 times, our silent code for "I love you." "Actually," he said, voice level, "Jennifer's the strongest person I know. She just doesn't feel the need to prove it constantly." Grace's smile faltered for just a moment before she recovered, raising her glass. "To sisters, who see things other people can't." The evening dragged on. Our carefully planned celebration transformed into the Grace show. When she finally left, 3 hours later, Adam and I stood in silence as her car pulled away. "And is everything okay with Grace?" Adam asked, loosening his tie. "Did I do something to upset her?" I stared at the lipstick mark on his cheek where she'd kissed him goodbye, too close to the corner of his mouth. "I don't know," I answered, honestly, but something isn't right. Doubt, once planted, grows like a weed. In the weeks that followed, Grace's campaign intensified, texts every other day, questioning Adam's whereabouts, his friendships, his loyalty. "Do you trust Adam completely?" she messaged late one night. "You can tell me if things aren't perfect." I began saving her texts, noting the pattern, the frequency, the careful choice of words that planted seeds of doubt without making direct accusations. One Tuesday afternoon, I had a dentist appointment, something Grace knew about because she'd recommended the practice. When I returned home, something felt off. Adam was working in his home office, headphones on, deeply focused on his eye, drafting software. "Was Grace here?" I asked during dinner, watching his reaction carefully. His fork paused halfway to his mouth. "Yes, actually. She let herself in. Said you gave her a key for emergencies." His eyebrows rose in question. "I never had..." "She stayed almost 2 hours," he continued, setting down his fork. "Said she needed to talk. But honestly, she asked some weird questions. Whether I was happy, if I ever felt trapped. I tried changing the subject, but she was..." He searched for the right word. "Intense." That night, I called Grace, keeping my voice casual as I asked about her visit. Why are you so defensive?" she snapped. "I'm just looking out for you." The next day, my friend Tara texted, "Everything okay between you and Adam? Grace mentioned you're having a rough patch." Then Jennifer, asking if it was true Adam was sleeping in the guest room. I felt sick, betrayed. The rumors spread like poison through our social circle, subtle, deniable if confronted, but damaging all the same. More troubling was Adam's transformation around Grace. Once comfortable and relaxed, he now grew tense at the mention of her name. At family gatherings, he'd find reasons to step outside when she approached, his eyes meeting mine with quiet desperation. The final straw came after a Sunday lunch at my parents'. Grace cornered me in the hallway, voice a concerned whisper. "I saw Adam with Maya again at Northside Mall. They were standing very close. I just think you should know." Ice filled my veins. "Did you talk to them?" She flushed, looking away. "No, but you deserve the truth, Jennifer." That night, sleepless beside Adam's gentle snores, something clicked. I opened my laptop and began a different kind of design project, charting every sighting Grace had reported, every rumor, every helpful warning on a timeline. By dawn, a pattern emerged that had nothing to do with Adam's behavior and everything to do with my sisters. A friend who worked with Maya messaged me on Tuesday afternoon, her name flashing on my screen like a warning. "Hey, Em, sorry. If this is weird, but your sister called my office. Twice. She was asking around, trying to find out if Adam and Maya stay late together. We told her Adam is super professional, but she seemed set on getting dirt." My face burned with mortification. I sat in my home office, staring at the message until the words blurred. Outside, rain tapped against the window, matching the nervous rhythm of my heart. My suspicions crystallized into certainty, sharp and painful. I pulled up our shared family calendar app. With new eyes, I noticed what I'd missed before. On every day Grace had warned up me about Adam and Maya, Grace herself had been nearby. At the restaurant across from their office, at the gym next to the coffee shop, shopping at the mall where she'd spotted them. Too many coincidences, too deliberate. When Adam came home that evening, he was pale, agitated. I found him in the kitchen, pacing on the hardwood floor, his usually meticulous tie loosened and askew. "What's wrong?" I asked, though something in me already knew. He turned, eyes full of pain and something else, relief at seeing me. "I think Grace is trying to make you hate me," he said, voice hoarse. "She came by my office today, just showed up during a client meeting." My stomach dropped. What did she want? To talk. His fingers formed air quotes. She implied things. That I was having an affair with Maya. He ran a hand through his hair. She even left a note on my desk. "Think about who you're hurting." I felt the blood drain from my face. "I believe you," I whispered, crossing the room to take his hands. They were cold despite the warm kitchen. "I think I've known something was wrong for a while." That night, we talked until 3 a.m., piecing together Grace's campaign against us. The subtle comments, the rumors, the manufactured evidence, the timeline stretching back further than either of us had initially realized. By morning, my sadness had hardened into resolve. I knew what I had to do. My hands trembled as I dialed Grace's number, the phone slick with sweat against my palm. "We need to talk. Tomorrow. I'll pick you up at noon." She was waiting. Outside her apartment building when I arrived, arms crossed defensively over her chest. The late autumn sun cast harsh shadows across her face, highlighting the tightness around her mouth. I drove in silence to our childhood pier, where Dad used to take us fishing, where we'd promised to always look out for each other. The weathered boards creaked beneath our feet as we walked to the end. Seagulls wheeled overhead, their cries sharp against the steady rhythm of waves. "Grace," I said finally, turning to face her. "Why are you doing this?" Her eyes widened in manufactured innocence. "Doing what?" "Trying to ruin my marriage, spreading rumors, following Adam, calling his coworkers." My voice remained steady, though inside I was shaking. "But lying to me." For a moment, I saw something flicker across her face, surprised that I'd figured it out, perhaps. Then her expression hardened. "I'm protecting you," she insisted, the wind whipping her hair across her face. "You're too trusting, Em. You always have been." "From what? From being happy?" My voice broke. Salt spray misted my face, indistinguishable from the tears threatening to fall. "Adam isn't cheating. He never was. The only person trying to hurt me is you." Something in her crumbled then. She looked away, her knuckles white as she gripped the pier railing. "You always get everything, Em," she whispered, so quietly I had to lean in to hear her over the waves. "The stable relationship, the career you love, the house, Mom and Dad's approval." She swallowed hard. "I just wanted to be needed, to be the one who saves you for once." I stared at her in disbelief. The sister I'd idolized suddenly, smaller, diminished by her own admission. The cold wood of the railing pressed into my palms as I steadied myself. "Grace, find a way to fix what you've done," I said, my voice low. "Tell people the truth." "Or I will." She shook her head, silent tears tracking down her cheeks, carrying mascara in gray rivulets. "Eventually," she whispered, "I'm sorry. I need help." That evening, I told Adam everything. We sat on our porch swing, a blanket around our shoulders, mugs of tea warming our hands as dusk settled over the neighborhood. A single star appeared in the darkening sky. "If this was meant to tear us apart, it failed," he said, his arm tightening around me. "I'm just glad you believe me." But the damage was done. Rumors, once released, are nearly impossible to fully recapture. I spent weeks reaching out to friends and family, quietly setting the record straight. Each conversation was exhausting, humiliating, having to defend my husband and expose my sister's betrayal. Grace retreated from everyone for weeks. Eventually, she told our parents what she'd done. Mom called me sobbing. Dad, uncharacteristically quiet, asked if we would ever be able to be in the same room again. I don't know, I answered honestly. Grace started therapy soon after. She moved across town, stopped dropping by unannounced. Our conversations became formal, careful text messages about logistics for family holidays. Adam and I went to counseling too. We rebuilt our trust methodically, brick by brick, discussing the cracks that Grace's efforts had revealed, not in our foundation, but in our communication. 6 months after the confrontation, a letter arrived in a pale, blue envelope, Grace's handwriting instantly recognizable on the front. It sat unopened on our entry table for 3 days before I found the courage to read it. I'm sorry. I was lost. You don't owe me forgiveness, but I hope one day we can laugh together again. I'm seeing someone now, a therapist who's helping me understand why I did what I did. It wasn't about Adam, not really. It was about feeling like I was disappearing while you were becoming more real. I'm working on being happy for you without needing to be the center of your world. The paper trembled in my hands as I read it twice more, then carefully refolded it along its creases. Outside our kitchen window, spring had arrived. The cherry tree we'd planted when we bought the house was covered in pale pink blossoms, a few petals drifting down to rest on the grass below. I cried that afternoon, for the sister I'd lost, for the trust that had crumbled, for the innocence that would never return. Adam found me there, sitting on the kitchen floor, letter beside me. He didn't ask questions, just slid down, beside me, his shoulder warm against mine as we sat in silence. The refrigerator hummed quietly, sunlight creating patterns on the tile floor. Do you think people can really change? I finally asked. Adam considered this, his glasses reflecting the afternoon light. I think they can, if they want to badly enough. He picked up Grace's letter, handed it back to me. But forgiveness and trust are different things. One can come without the other. We've had dinner with Grace twice since then. Neutral. Territory. A restaurant downtown with soft lighting and enough ambient noise to fill our awkward silences. She's different now. Less sharp-edged, more thoughtful before speaking. She asks questions and actually listens to the answers. The progress is real, if fragile. I'm not sure if I'll ever fully trust her again. The sister who shared my childhood secrets is both present and gone, replaced by someone I'm still getting to know. But I'm giving her the chance to show me who she's becoming. Now, when people ask about family, about loyalty, about blood being thicker than water, I offer a measured smile. Family can be both harbor and storm. Sometimes you have to sail away to save your ship from sinking. I've learned that protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. That sometimes the hardest person to stand up to is the one who's known you longest. And that the family that matters most is the one you choose to build, day by day, with love and intention. If you're listening to this, and something feels wrong in your closest relationships, trust that feeling. Your intuition is whispering to you for a reason. You're stronger than you know, strong enough to seek truth, even when it hurts. Strong enough to set boundaries, even with those you love. And strong enough to begin again, building something beautiful from the pieces of what broke. Thank you for hearing my story. If my words resonate with you, share yours in the comments and tell me what you thought of my story. Tell me a little about yourself. Subscribe to receive other stories like this. Thank you very much.